All right, everybody, we're here. Thanks for being with me. 2016, everybody. 2016. You made it. Another year. Never gets old. Welcome to CharDUG tonight, folks. We got a mix of some new faces and some old faces. Mostly talking about Steve here.
Yes, some of the oldest faces.
I need to appreciate that one. We are trying to do something different. We're trying to do live streams of our meetups that we host and get those out on YouTube. So
yeah, I'll kill that tonight.
So that may not work out. When we're in this facility, there's a lot of extra security measures on the network and stuff, so it's always a little squirrely trying to get the live streams to work. So we'll see how that works. I think we're okay though. I think we're running good. So thanks for bearing with me. First time caller. So I'm Mark and go by Trop, and we're here for I guess this is, which edition is this? What month are we? February edition. February 2016 edition. Nathan saw it. So that's cool. Everybody's up to Drupal 8 now. Everybody upgrade. It's like WordPress. You push the button and upgrade. John knows he's been he's been upgrading for the last month.
It's okay. They're totally rewriting the way my grid works.
Yeah. Is it good? Is it all fixed now? It's all good.
It's much better.
They released an update today.
To get entities. It's totally architect.
Cool.
It'll be a point release though.
Yeah. Well, like today, maybe it was in today's release. Wasn't there a release today?
Might have been.
I'll be migrating us backwards to Drupal 7.
So Drupal 8 is kind of exciting. DrupalCon North America is coming up May 9th to the 13th, I think. Does that sound about right? It's in that range, 10th to the 13th.
Yes,
And that's in New Orleans, and it's always a shame it's in a city that's not very fun like that.
that joke kills every time.
It does.
Look for DrupalCon China Grove.
Yeah. It'd be a little easier. It'd be a little easier to sell. It's a little easier to sell the DrupalCon China Grove because when I go, these guys are real serious. They really want to go to this con. Well, where is it? It's in New Orleans. I mean, but they're going to be in sessions and stuff. It's going to be a lot tied up time. So, but that's coming up, and that should be fun. And I think that our focus this year for any of the classic folks who are going, I think our focus this year is really to dive into Drupal 8 and what's going on with that. Because I remember 4 years ago diving into Drupal 8 and watching Larry Garfield talk about Symphony components and all that stuff. So we've come a long way, but now it's out there, and I think it's going to be a whole different thing, talking about where Drupal 8 is at and where it's headed, and maybe some applicable sessions on how to do things in 8, which will be kind of exciting. Things maybe some demos too of 8 sites that have been released and what people are working on. So kind of excited about that. Let's see. I think other news, Drupal Camp Atlanta, I think, has been releasing videos recently, so those are out there. I would check those out. Yeah, I wasn't able to make that camp, so that's a good one usually, and I would check those out. They're free out there. That would be AOL keyword Drupal Camp Atlanta video. Anyone? Chris is the only fighter on that. Okay, all right. So, but those should be fun. And what else is happening out there? What?
4th and 5th.
March 4th and 5th?
Yep.
Which one?
Florida.
Florida. Yeah, Florida is usually a good camp. I have never made it to that one, but everybody I talked to that's been has enjoyed that one. It's Orlando area, isn't it?
Usually in Orlando.
Yeah.
And the day before, you go to the Elixir conference in St. Augustine, like a 2-hour drive away.
Yeah, that's good. That's good to tie in. Mike Barkas does a lot of those. He'll tie in multiple conferences. I think you get the JS Conf right before Drupal Camp Atlanta.
Yeah, on the bus.
Yeah. So yeah, follow Mike. He knows how to tie in a bunch of conferences. So I think that'll all be exciting. And with let's see, February 19th is I think that's the day when Drupal 6 support ends. So there's that.
we've got that going
We'll
against
just
us.
say there's that.
which is not nice.
And there are a lot of Drupal 6 sites still out there, so there's that. But there are there's a number of folks popping up out there that are saying they'll support Drupal 6, and we'll see how that maps out. But
And of course, Drupal 9 is right around the corner.
yeah, I think Nathan's the one when we had our CharDUG Drupal 8 Install Fest / party, whatever. You're the one that wrote party like it's Drupal 9. So that was good. I got some traction.
Like there's no Drupal.
Like there's no Drupal 9, which is fact. That was good. That was fun. Anything else? Anybody else have anything? Thanks, John, for mentioning the Florida camp. Definitely check that out. Other Drupal news I've been paying attention to, Lullabot restarted their Lullabot podcast, which if you've been in Drupal for a while, that was the first kind of Drupal podcast, I think, out there. And it was a good one. Jeff Robbins actually hosted that. Now he's upper echelon, and I think he made a guest appearance, but he does more, I guess, presidential, CEO-ish type things, whatever his title is. But he's turned that over to some other folks that work at Lullabot, and so that podcast is a good one to listen to. They've had some good episodes, so check that out if you're into the podcasting stuff. Anyway, I can't think of anything else. Let's do a quick round the room since we got a few people that are new. Like I said, I'm Mark. I work here at Classic Graphics, and have been doing Drupal for a long time and enjoy it, and so like doing the meetups. It's cool, and I'll turn it over to you. Do a quick intro.
Yeah, James, I work downtown. I'm a recruiter and been in the IT field, I guess, for 4 years now, and just started working on development jobs and realized I know nothing. So just kind of want to come here, learn a little bit, and maybe just kind of hear a little bit about what you guys do.
Yeah.
Thank you for having me.
And you said you had a couple of Drupal gigs out there, and like I tell everybody, we've got a jobs area on the forums, so you can put those out there, and they'll get out to the group if people are interested. But awesome, thanks for making it. That's cool. You reached out on the LinkedIn. The LinkedIn's work occasionally for stuff.
Yeah.
They keep upgrading the app, and it keeps getting worse. So I don't know what's going on. It's weird, but I have to slide these cards over to say congrats. It's such a warm personal message. Congratulations on your 9 years at your job. It's like it's such a LinkedIn's such an odd thing.
So impersonal.
But
personal, right?
it is right. But I mean, deal with LinkedIn all the
it's
time. It's just a reality.
better than the job boards. Job boards are terrible.
Oh, I can imagine. Like old school, like Monster.
Yeah, Monster, Career Builder, Dice. They're
LinkedIn at least creates those connections for people. So.
I'm Ashish. I'm new to this group.
Cool.
And I basically a web developer in State Farm Insurance.
Okay.
And I just want to learn Drupal. It's
Awesome.
CMS tool.
And what are you doing? What are you a developer now then?
Yeah, I'm a developer. I'm basically using JavaScript and Java as my core expertise. But
Okay.
I never.
Are you here on the same campus?
Sorry.
Are you here on the same campus? One of the new Allstate places here?
No,
You said State Farm. My bad.
State
My
Farm
bad.
Insurance,
Okay. Cool. Well, that's good stuff. We've got some folks in the room that do Java and folks that do JavaScript. So that's cool.
So yeah,
So we're not-
I never have my hands on those
PHP
kind of
and
tools.
Drupal.
Yeah. And Drupal's changed a lot over the years. It started out as a hobby originally, as a hobby platform used at a college, and has now to the person that started Drupal met the King and Queen of Belgium. I read this last couple of days or something, or it was last week. So things have changed. Things have changed. There's notices, but Drupal is now truly an enterprise CMS option. And enterprise, I'm using that in a broad sense, because that can mean 100 different things. But it can do a lot of powerful stuff, and it's a different world. I kind of years ago I kind of felt like a lot of people compared Drupal and WordPress and other things. I was Drupal, WordPress, and the other things. But the reality is now, to me, those are two different things for two different purposes in a lot of ways. I don't even see them in the world because in the same world at this point, although they could do some similar stuff. But how do you write?
I'm Dieter. I do the Drupals. I'm a developer here at Classic.
Yeah.
Lyle.
I'm developing your classic, pretty new to Drupal, kind of coming in to see.
That's good.
Yeah, good one,
Sorry,
Brian.
everybody used to be new to Drupal every 6 years.
But yeah, because that's about what it is, right?
Yeah.
We're feeling super new right now. Hey,
Chris, I work for a company out of Alexandria, Virginia, called PHP Technology.
yeah, awesome company.
Cool.
I'm John. I got a small virtual tool shop out at Greenville. We're now actually using 40 hours a week of the consultant's time, so we're getting our first employees. Awesome.
Cool.
I'm presenting the Florida Drupal Camp, so anyone wants to share more complex key-hacking Drupal site stories than hack module Drupal get it. I love hearing techniques you have, so I can present them during my talk.
Awesome. We'll go to the back. Come back.
Brian, I've found this group forever ago now. Been in the Drupal ecosystem since version 3. I don't really touch Drupal directly much anymore because there's so many people involved here. But I still support the group. Show up and harass me.
Awesome.
Yay!
Yay.
I'm Jacob. I run a small Drupal shop, Upgrade Ya, with my brother and this guy, Wes. And I've been in Drupal since version 6, and I'm diving headfirst in Drupal 8 right now, trying to figure it out and learn about that. So,
Same thing.
so.
It is, yeah. I think that's a common thread here.
I'm Wesley. I'm a Java developer for Bank of America during the day, and then working with this guy during the nighttime. So
Awesome.
I'm Jeff. I'm a Drupal developer here at Classic. Also changing Meteor here and there and other JavaScript
And React.
and React.
Let's give it. Jeff Frazier. 2016, everybody.
I'm Mike Simmons. I work here at Classic. I'm not yet a developer. I do everything I touch is configuration. It's kind of cool.
Very cool.
Which speaks a
Simmons is
lot.
awesome.
Which speaks a ton to Drupal and its differences compared to a lot of other systems.
It's really quite amazing what you can do if you just give it the patience to figure it out. So.
And I will give a quick shout out on that. Like Mike, as part of our platform group, and just so we have separation of roles here, and Mike can. I think you can touch some production systems, but part of that is you can't do code right now and commit, and you might transfer into the
It's either
developer
one
world
or
at some
the
point.
other. It's either touch the admin stuff, but no code, or the code without the admin stuff.
Exactly, but Mike's able to do a lot with Drupal, and that is, so anybody that's new to Drupal, something that's really neat is that you can do so much by installing modules and just hitting the buttons and going to settings and configuring things. You can get a long ways down the road of getting an application or site up and going before you have to touch any code. And lots of and I think Mike and anybody else that does configuration like that in site building, they really push the limits of that a lot. So
Crazy stuff.
yeah. And actually, Mike winds up figuring out. I think when you're in that world, you figure out things that developers don't know, because a lot of times we tend to fall back on, well, I'll just write code for that, but you find out you really don't even need to, because there's other ways to do it. So it's kind of neat.
My name's Mike, and I'm a Drupal developer here.
That's about it. Very understated.
That's Barkas for you.
Yeah.
I'm Mark. I'm also a Drupal developer here at Classic for about 2 years now, and I also developed in Meteor, which is an awesome JavaScript framework. Trying to learn React like Jeff. Jeff probably knows a lot more than I do at this point, so I'll probably be asking
We're all
a lot
going
of
to be learning
questions.
from Jeff. And Jeff, as a shout out, February 15th, Meteor Charlotte, which is sort of now Meteor Concord, because all of those meetups have moved up there to HP5 Cowork. Jeff is presenting on a project he worked on. He did a mini teaser today at our dev meeting, or Coder Clubhouse we call it. On he's got a mobile app he's worked on with React and Meteor, and it's really cool. but he's gonna talk more about that. We're gonna talk about other things going on in the Meteor world. There's a lot of flux and change there too. Anything in technology is changing all the time, and you wind up having a lot of challenges along the way. But I'm looking forward to hearing more about React and how to use that as a front end. React is a Facebook open source project that was started by Facebook.
People love it, apparently.
Yeah, it's cool. Awesome.
Nathan,
Mr. Robot.
Hey, I see what you did there.
my name is Nathan, developer for Drupal developer for 2 years now. I worked with .NET for 5 years, but haven't touched it in 1 year, so it's good.
We have worked hard to make that happen.
Not having touched.
And I will introduce now Steve Spencer.
Now I'm a folder operator here at Classic Graphics.
Steve's been here a long time and he's done it all.
Yeah.
And,
Now a Drupal developer here at Classic.
Yes, and Steve's one of our presenters tonight. We got 2 presentations lined up for tonight.
I apologize for mine in advance.
No, you don't need to apologize. Steve is going to talk about the block system in Drupal and what that's about. And then after that, we're going to have Mike Barkas talk about using Composer as the builder for Drupal. We're building a Drupal site, or I guess pulling down all the pieces. I don't want to give away the thing, but we'll see. Using Composer as a tool to do things. Is it versus Drush? Is it to replace?
Compare them a little bit.
Okay, cool.
Use
That'd
both of them.
be awesome. And with that, folks, Steve Spencer.
Thank you. I truly don't deserve it. Blocks 2016, CharDUG presentation. The humble Drupal block. A block is basically a box of content. It can hold pretty much anything. The view system in Drupal, you all know, can natively generate a block. Every menu that's available in Drupal can be made into a block. Many modules supply their own block content. Nodes themselves can also be made into blocks, and of course you can program a block. I'll talk about those 2 little techniques a little bit later. But a block basically is Drupal's puzzle piece. And it's not a very imaginative puzzle piece because it's always a rectangle. But that allows you to stack content all across a particular page of a website, the only limitations being what regions that particular theme has made available to you. And Drupal's own Bardic theme, it turns out, is very, very generous with regions that you can use for populating content. Now, let's take a look at the blocks configuration page. You'll see here all of the blocks listed, already segregated into what region they've been set up for. All these down here in none, they're not assigned to a block. Powered by Drupal's in the footer. Birthdays is in sidebar second. I'll talk a little bit more about that module later. But if you want to move a block to a different region, just pull the drop down, select the region you want to assign it to. You'll notice it's now been moved up to the first sidebar. You can scroll to reposition it relative to other blocks within that, and then save your configuration. Also, an individual block can be configured specifically with a separate block title. And what we use a lot around here, especially on an intranet site, is roles. You can assign which roles can or cannot see this particular block on a given page. There's also a page restriction, which pages it can or can be seen on. That's pretty robust in and of itself, but the context module goes a little bit farther. It allows you to create a situation, or a set of situations actually, where blocks will or won't be shown and where they'll be shown. For instance, this particular context that I've set up, the path is on the front page. If the user is a Classic employee, then the blocks for recent content will show up on the second sidebar. And I'm going to enable this particular context. And when we return to the front page, you'll see that recent content now shows up on the front page for user Steve S., who is a member of the Classic employees. Now, I mentioned earlier that nodes can be turned into blocks. That's with the help of the node block module. Node block, one word, no underscores. You download it and install it the same way you would any other module. Then, structure, content types. We'll take a look at new content type and see that we have an extra tab for node block settings. This particular content type, you are available to use this as a block, and you can change the block title if you choose. Now, I will look at a particular piece of content made with that content type. And I'll check its node block submenu, and I will demonstrate that you can change the title title for this node just as it will appear in the block. Save this. Make sure I have it enabled. Block, good. Now when I go back to my blocks page, I'll see that the block stuff is now available as a block. Move that to my first sidebar. Save that. Back to my front page. And there is the node that's been converted into a block with the separate title that you wanted to give it. And lastly, we'll look at coding a block. This is the code that I wrote for that birthday thing. The birthday block over here is based on something that we've used on the intranet. I converted it to use for an off-intranet site because we can't access our intranet on our guest network. So these are all fake names and fake birthdays, but
We're so secure we cannot access the birthdays.
we're so secure we
So,
can't access our own
it's
birthdays.
locked down.
That means it doesn't exist. You don't have a birthday anymore. Sorry.
But the code for creating a block boils down to this block info function, which tells Drupal that there's a block to be had, the block view function, which builds the content, assigning the title and the actual contents of the block. And in this case, it's calling this function over here, birthday block content, which basically just returns a themed list as markup. And there you have the birthday block.
Nice. There you go.
Birthday block.
Birthdays.
And that is the humble Drupal block.
2016. Steve Spencer. That's awesome.
So the pizza is due here now or 15 minutes from now in this little window.
Eventually.
It's fairly backed up.
We will survive. I've got, if anybody needs, I have some kind bars, some emergency kind bars in my bag. So if anybody starts to get low blood sugar, we'll help out.
I've got some Atkin bars.
You want?
Bars.
Right here. This is actually a good one. You have a bento box. Pretty big bento box.
Bento box.
Thanks, Steve. That's cool.
Yeah, thanks, Steve.
I've got a couple notes about that and blocks, how they're different from Drupal 8.
Yeah, that'd be awesome.
That's a good idea.
And
Yeah.
so one of the reasons Steve was kind of showing context for block management, which is a very common use for context in Drupal 7, is the default block administration page in Drupal. You can only put a block one time in one region, which is kind of a key problem that has to be overcome a lot of times.
And
There's logic to that on a big level, but then there are times you need to, and then you really need to.
Yes, context. So if you don't install something like context or one of the other modules that let you do things with blocks in Drupal 7, the core block module will only let you put an instance, like each block can only have one instance. So like the Powered by Drupal block, if you wanted to have that in your header and in your footer, for example,
Two blocks.
Yeah, you have to have 2 blocks because you can, in that administration screen, you can only put that block in one
If you want to make a change,
Yeah.
you gotta do it.
Yeah. And that type of thing. So context is often used to say, look, I've got this suite of blocks that need to kind of travel together. So for example, if you said, hey, I want these 2 blocks, which were 2 separate blocks, to only appear on article pages, right? You have to go and make that configuration in both blocks, for example. Then with context, you say, let me make a context that applies for article pages, and then the block portion of context, you say, okay, let me place these 2 blocks, right? And it's just easier to do kind of an update thing. So a couple of key differences with Drupal 8, blocks become entities, which means blocks become buildable, that type of thing. The core administration area also lets you place the same block as many times as you want into different regions, for example. So in Drupal 8, there's a lot more functionality available through the core block system than there was in Drupal 7. So that's just a thing to note as you step up and start using it. You'll see a lot of differences, especially in that block screen.
Well, my next presentation when Drupal 9 comes out will be blocks for Drupal 8, so I'll be sure to cover all that. Thank you. That is very useful.
Yeah.
Interesting to
Presentation created.
Yeah, and you worked on context module quite a bit, right? I mean, that's your thing.
Well, I didn't write it.
But
You might have taken over from
those guys, Development Seed.
Development Seed.
Yeah.
Yeah, we took it over and then I helped maintain it for a while. And now I'm still, I think, the owner of the module page, but other people do most of the work on it. So,
I did go over it.
It's either a sandbox or they've done a branch for context for Drupal 8. It's going to be interesting to see what is necessary context-wise for Drupal 8 versus not Drupal 8. Given sort of, at least for us, a lot of times the core use case for context was block placement. It can do all kinds of other things. There's different. It has a concept called reactions and conditions. So condition is basically like what are the rules that you want to apply to make that context applicable, right? So like a path or a content type or that kind of thing. And then the reactions are just what you do. And one of the reactions is a block, right? Which you show, or change the title of the page, or do some weird thing to the menu system, or do something to breadcrumbs, right? But the block placement is one of the frequent use cases there. So given the power of the block system in Drupal 8 and core, it's going to be interesting to see what's actually necessary within context there. Because core in Drupal 8 also has a plugin system, right? And it has this concept of like conditional plugins that you can use. So like rules is probably going to use those. Context would probably wind up using those sort of conditional style plugins, that type of thing. The one sort of drawback I would say to only using the core block system is they haven't really solved that problem. I want to treat these set of blocks as a set and do a bunch of rules to those as a set. So that might be a place where it later.
Yeah, cool. I think that's a natural scenario with the major releases of Drupal, where you almost have to figure out, is the module even needed? Is it, or like you're saying, do we reshape it so that it fits what's still missing in core? Because rarely do they pull everything needed in core. They grab pieces.
But they've done a good job in 8 before. Basically, I would say like the top 5 things that you always put stuff in, right? They've done a good job of just pulling them in.
Oh, they're
because I can't remember last time I did a site right in 7 that, or 6 even that didn't have use, right? Like,
yeah.
You're like, I'm going to need this.
If you checked out, put it in DrupalCore.com.
Heyo.
You can see all the things they put in core. They put a lot in core.
They've been generous.
Yeah. A lot. I mean, a lot.
In core.
We really Meteor almost made it in. It was so close, but they were like, no.
It just didn't make that. It didn't make
they were like, we'll go with Phoenix. Pretty good stuff.
Does Context have a release for Drupal 8 or thought about it?
There's a branch for it. I was looking, like some other guy like was like, hey, I've got this, and I was like, the the guy who has been doing this maintainship was like, "Can we give him access?" I was like, "Sure." Like, yeah, I mean, I don't want to have to do all the work.
You don't turn down help.
But I'll have to look and see if it's. I think he had sandboxed it like a GitHub repo. And then I don't know if he's actually made it in as a branch on the official Drupal module, or there's an issue about context in Drupal 8 that I think has a link in one of the comments to it if it's not a branch.
I use context a lot. I think I always use it for what you said, a collection of blocks.
Yeah.
Going against kind of a group of pages and stuff.
Yeah, it's a nice configuration convenience. If nothing else.
Definitely.
Admittedly, I barely touched context, but it is a whole lot beefier than I gave it credit for my presentation. It's a robust tool for sure.
Yeah.
I'll look for the issue queue right here. I'll look at a repo and tell you if it's got a branch for 8 here. Just a second. Yes, there are 2 different branches for 8. I don't know why there's an 8.x-0.x and an 8.x-4.x. But they haven't cut any dev releases, so if you want to use it, you have to actually check out the repo.
Okay.
I have no idea the state of those.
Yeah. Okay, yeah.
Stage is yours, sir.
Did you wait for pizza break or what?
I'll say be prepared, but they were fairly non-committal.
Pizza break. Yeah, we'll keep talking. You can plug in and get set. That works, man. Well, we might get set. Anybody have any interesting things they're working on in the Drupal world?
I have something about blocks.
Like everybody loves blocks. Everybody's just like put them everywhere. Like.
So for us, we want to keep as much as we can in our repository, our source. And one of those things that we've been discussing is the content of a block that doesn't ever change. The client's not going to edit. But that's not transferred through the configuration of Drupal 8.
Yeah, because it's considered content.
It's content, right. So I was wondering if there's any good solutions to that or suggestions of how to go about doing something like that to transfer from environment to environment.
You can make it a module.
Yeah, I was going to say you can actually make a module that would provide blocks and read from a data file that you treated like configuration. It's kind of sort of jumping around there to make it happen, but if treating like, because I assume you want that as I assume you want it as sort of an editable element, like maybe on your staging server, and say, all right, let me capture it. Because I think you can still do like a programmatic block, right? You just type HTML into the source, and when you want to change it, you just change it to the source, and it's by nature, part of your code base. Either in 7 or 8, that would be applicable. But for 8, I haven't really pondered that as a mechanism. But yeah, a little sort of shim module that says read this data file that is in either it's just something that you can capture into your repo.
Okay.
Would work. And maybe even just bypass the configuration system altogether.
And just put it in the code.
Like, even if you just said like, hey, I've got this YAML file that has
it's not going to change. Maybe it shouldn't be a block at all. Maybe it should just be in the template. Yeah, maybe it's that.
And at least it's proposed that way too. Okay.
Yeah, that would work. Sometimes it depends. Like
you can tell our perspectives.
The content.
I went making a module. Jeff goes, put it in the theme.
Right code.
Yeah.
Well, see, a lot of times, one of the things is like, hey, I want this piece so that like, a client can't touch it, but I want them to be able to do all these other things. Right? So you might say, I don't want the client to be able to edit the content of this block, but I want them to be able to place it wherever they want. Right? And it depends, right? If it's like the client should never touch this thing ever, right? Like maybe the template's not the worst idea in the world. Like they're definitely not touching it there.
Yeah.
It's like they can't touch the content, but they can move it around. The block's not the worst idea in the world.
I guess I like the ability to move blocks around the regions really easily. So I put it in a template. It's not as easy to, because you just in the template you just have this region.
But there,
it has the blocks inside.
but there are times where something that looks like a block, and that's just when I think stuff that looks like a block winds up being a static part of a certain page or set of pages
Right.
where it would never move.
Right.
And
Right. And it
That's
depends
more
on, do you
when
need to interleave other content around it?
Yeah.
That can become difficult to do if it's just in the middle of the template
Yeah.
as opposed to, well, it's a block, now I can order it with other stuff.
I think those are several good suggestions. I think, you know, it just depends on the use case.
Okay.
Yeah. So
Thank you.
it's
As Drupal
cool,
goes
good
towards
question.
referral, there's more than one way to do it, right?
Oh yeah. It's sometimes that's yeah, and I mean development in general. I mean, there's always so many ways to do stuff, and then it's really nailing down the best way. And then you can spend a good day thinking about the best way, pondering it, taking a walk,
The best-
spending about
the best
3 hours
way-
going, how do I solve that problem? You know, it's like it's good stuff.
Yeah, the best way involves your crystal ball and predicting the future, right?
Yeah,
And if
yeah,
you accurately predicted the future, then you likely picked the
That can
best
take 2
way.
days.
Yeah, and if you didn't, then you're always gonna be like, oh, I'm such an idiot 6 months ago when I did it this way. Because I didn't realize that this was going to happen.
There's like words like technical debt and legacy. Those are just words we love as developers.
How do you do localization? Like, let's say you wanted to make this the text multi-language.
So
Yeah.
they've actually pulled more of the internationalization stuff available in the core as opposed to the IHTML modules, but there's still effectively the T function. I think it's like a translation service now that you get like a reference to, like a lot of things you'll see like in the code examples, it'll be like this dereference T, because they like called out to like the internationalization service or something.
And it's still gonna be a text file with the key value pairs.
Oh, in terms of like
Oh, you mean like the
hot
pop
files
files?
or whatever.
Yeah.
Like,
Is that what it is? Yeah, I don't know if there are.
well, that used to be sort of the import export mechanism, was to run things through that. I do not know if under the covers that's still there. I would suspect it is because I don't recall reading anything about that particular aspect dramatically changing, but I don't know for sure.
Yeah, I was just saying that because a lot of times the way that's built is kind of like where a lot of people put their, well, at least in other languages, is where you put your text that goes on the website. So I didn't know if that would be a good way to keep it in the source.
I see what you're saying.
You know?
I don't think you'll do that with Drupal typically.
Most people do not use like effectively like a token replacement. Like there is a token system, right? If you wanted to say, oh, well, we got a phone number that goes a lot of places and it changes a lot, and we don't want to go update like 100 nodes for it.
Yeah.
You know, that's more of a case for the token system in my mind than the translation system. I'd never pondered using the translation system as a content mechanism for a site. But although I could see it working if you were like, these sites are templates that we just stamp out, right? And hey, I just want to type stuff in. I mean, I think it would work. I don't know that I would ever, like, I might investigate something like, hey, let me have something spin up the site and then like run an importer to just like with a migration to like populate it with content as opposed to that mechanism, the translation mechanism. But I don't know that I can say it would never work to use the translation system like that.
Yeah. Definitely not what it's intended for, but
I've said
You'll
I've
get
seen
a lot
all
of
kinds of things get done
Yeah.
and be workable and what it was intended for.
That's true. That's very true.
But yeah, and there's a couple of different default content approaches that have emerged. I think there's a default content module. There's that approach of, hey, let me in my profile spin something up and then just run a migration to import content. We did a site. This was right when Drupal 7 came out, and the approach was they had the reference database, and they took a SQL dump of it, and then they token replaced the SQL dumps to set up stuff when they imported
That
it.
sounds horrible.
Maybe, but they got 100 sites up there like a day.
Yeah. Oh, okay. One shot deal.
Yeah. This was just for the initial site stand up.
Because there was a while, this is years ago, but WebCheck, I think it was WebCheck that posted maybe, but there was a very controversial deployment mechanism that was proposed on a little blog about using SQL files.
Oh yeah.
And and it might have been sort of pre-features or before people had used features for this.
Yeah.
And it was super like fragile. And I actually used something similar one time where you kind of basically it's not so this. You make a template file, you export to SQL, or you make a template site, you export to SQL, and you just re-import it. And instead of having an automatic mechanism to do stuff, you would then people would then change it manually wherever they needed, like title and stuff like that. Super fragile, super terrible. And I know it wasn't for a one-shot deal where you're just bringing up like 100 things at one time and that's it, and you're moving forward from there. This was like this was like a thing where like in the future they would be working, but the problem is it doesn't work that way with Drupal because at some point you're gonna have like that snapshot is snapped around all of the modules and the current state they're in and the current config they're in, the variables table, and that means you're starting like so if that thing is 3 months old, you're starting at a 3-month-old setup where you may need. Then you're having to go back and go through updates for all the stuff since then every time.
Yeah.
And it's crazy. So even as kludgy as features feels in certain scenarios, it at least was a bridge to get us to a point where we could do things before getting to configuration management. So we've made it work. I mean, the real issue we run into is the merge conflicts. You got people kind of poking around in some of the same features and same things like that.
Yeah.
You talking about for DA configuration?
No, I'm talking like old
Just
school.
features
But I call it
and-
kind of
features like-
features configuration management. Yeah.
My golden rule for working with features, if you're working in a team environment, is only one person touches a feature at a time.
That's kind of what we see.
And before you touch it, you pull the latest code and you revert. If you follow those, and you look at the doggone diff before you submit your commit. Like look there and be like, yes, those were the things I changed in the features.
Does it make
It's
sense?
like a field didn't disappear or.
Does it apply to the thing, or the changes to things I really intended?
Yeah.
So
Hey,
That's
I changed
happened.
one thing,
It's
I
happened
saw
before,
700 feature files changed. Probably are going to be happy with the results.
It won't end well for anyone.
No.
Yeah, and make sure everyone's on the same version of features in their code base. Like that one developer who didn't pull the code base, right? Like somehow got a copy of the latest feature and didn't get a copy of, or basically for us, we basically use like Drush make, right? And so the only thing in our repos is the make file and our custom code. So if the make file changes and you don't rerun your build process, and that make file says, oh, it's time for us to upgrade a features version, then that one dude who didn't run make is botching features up all the time because like it'll change, some things will get reordered a little bit, and like the bad part is 98% of the time stuff will mostly work, and that 2% of the time you're like, what is going on here?
Yeah.
So
and
consistency.
stuff just gets stuck and overwritten.
Yeah, consistency and because you'll see you'll see weird things being overwritten because you'll like go and you'll look at the diff and it's like, well, nothing's different. And you're like, well, how can it be marked as overwritten if nothing is different? And you find out it's like some weird space in the .info file, or it's true versus one, or it's quotes around it versus not quotes around it. Which once you turn it into a PHP object, it doesn't matter. Yeah, those are equivalent values, but at the code level, it is different. And features when it's trying to decide if it's overwritten is like comparing it at the code level. And anyway, it's wild. Like a lot of people get bit by features a lot, but I would still never want to work without it.
Well, I mean,
But try using backported config management, you'll be right back to features.
Yeah, that was almost worse in a certain way, just because we didn't understand. Like we've got in situations with that messing with it, we didn't understand how to get out of it.
But even when we did understand it better, it was still problematic.
Yeah.
And the Drupal 8 config management had moved so far on from that point that it wasn't even a backport anymore. It was its own thing.
Yeah. I want to be that guy walking around DrupalCon going, how come we didn't use JSON? Anyway,
Can you restart the XML today?
Yeah, that's what I'm getting at. Yeah.
Oh, that's another thing about the token. Like one of the reasons stuff becomes really fragile if you use one of these crazy schemes like
the database
export
Yeah.
is At least in 7, you'll get a lot of serialized PHP objects in it. And I don't know if anyone's like hand jammed a serialized PHP object.
It's painful.
But if you change a string or anything really, you need to make sure you change the thing that tells you to link that string, or you've broken your serialization. So that's why, like, you just run into all these things like, oh, I didn't realize that replacement was going to be fragile in that way because I didn't realize I just replaced something in a serialized PHP object. Which you can't do all of that with a regular expression. Like, you can't say, oh, and then run backwards to the
length of the new string and replace that.
And anytime you're messing with serialized PHP, you never feel good about yourself. You just
Hey,
feel
I've
dirty.
had to track down that the problem was in a bad serialized PHP and like fix it by hand.
Yeah. I've had to do stuff like that around
We've
entities.
often do it, and we all feel dirty afterwards.
Yeah. Wash your hands.
And then the manager goes, "How do you know what the problem is? Isn't it just as simple as like fixing the
Could use copy
Why did this take 8 hours? Because you look at
Copy
the
paste.
Git commit and it's like three characters change. It's like, why
Yeah.
did that take 8 hours?
Yeah.
Because it took me all day to figure out which 3 characters.
Hello. You know what I'm talking about. Yeah.
You don't understand. I needed to
For
figure out
any
which
bug
3
fix
lines.
estimate, they're like, how long is it going to take? It's going to take you 90% of the time it's going to take to figure out how long it's going to take, and 10% of the time to actually fix it.
Yeah, that's we can have that here. That's what Nathan's talking about, where non-tech developer types
My speed is
definitely don't
fine.
understand, and you're always having to kind of explain.
Unexpected problem, that's my speed.
Yeah. He
But
was
they're
really typing
good
slow.
characters,
He had an
like,
extra
they're the
long
right
lunch.
characters.
You know, it's
That's
like
right. The right order. That's
and trust me, any developer that really cares, I mean, it's not like they're sitting there going, "I'm trying to make this as slow as possible. This is fun."
Yeah.
They want to be productive and get it done. So
Yes,
But as developers,
Hero
we're gonna throw out
syndrome.
more than we can.
Yeah. That's true. It's part of the process. Well, that was a good intermission. That was cool. Did a lot of good stuff. Still no pizza, but there is pizza
I guess that means you
in the Charlotte area. It's just it's not here yet. It is debatable. Well, that's true. That's true.
On a Zen level, there is pizza.
Did you? Is this Domino's or the Da Vinci's? Da Vinci's.
Dominicis.
What? Easy now.
Is there leftover from last meetup?
2 months, is there?
No.
2 months ago?
Well, cool. Well, I'm gonna move us on to the next presentation, and this one is good. I think I'm looking forward to it. I saw a preview earlier. I actually did not. I'm just kidding. But I am looking forward to this topic because some of this I'm hoping will some of the work Mike's been doing may help us change how we build our distributions internal, doing more with Composer. So Mike Barkas, 2016. To this guy, man. He's bringing it. Well, can I before you start? I just have to comment. I want to throw a comment. I don't know which logo is the worst. I do not. I have to be honest.
I will tell you that it's the Composer logo because that's a conductor.
Open source is not always known for their marketing abilities.
Slide number 3.
Inabilities, yeah.
So when you comes to computer science, naming things is one of them.
Yeah, that's exactly right. That's true. Yeah.
I'm just learning Composer. I'm not an expert. So
Yeah.
This is a very beginner introduction to this, but these slides are here. Slides.com. Mike Barkas sent me. Drupal and Composer. If you want to follow along.
Proxy.
DOP proxy, ladies and gentlemen. Proxy.
Yeah, it gives me a chance to type in the URL.
Dot is not a good password.
That is, not enough entropy. That's limited entropy right
A couple
now.
more dots, you'd probably be good.
So if you just put /live, you can follow along with people in the background. I'm just going to do an introduction to Composer, basically how these two are being related now, and a basic example usage.
Cool.
Just kind of making something like that.
Oh, sorry.
Dieter?
Yeah, for sure.
Yes.
I thought it was me, and I thought I didn't know
The
the
difference.
definitions, but I looked it up. Damn.
That might not be. That might actually be like a pencil, and he's just really frustrated.
Yeah.
But I don't think so.
No.
He's very excited.
Yeah.
And he holds it real weird.
He's like, I'm about to write the next line.
Taking a break.
Yeah.
He's stretching.
And he looks a little like Sloth from the Goonies.
There's actually a GitHub issue for this. Logo is a conductor, not a composer.
Really? That's awesome.
There it is. Issue 36.
Nice.
That's awesome.
So what is Composer? It's an application level package management language, provides the answer big, but what? Download
Good
stuff.
definition, Barkas.
So it's a terminal program. You install it with your shell terminal. It's run from the shell. It allows you to declare libraries and projects for your projects. For example, an install command would read your Composer file, so I'll show an example, and it will download your dependencies for you. So where does this Composer download all the stuff from? This software managed repository called packages. If you go to packages.org, this is what it looks like. You can browse for packages.
Well, it has a different logo.
So that's a better
It's an
logo.
elephant.
It's a hand-drawn elephant shot at a laser.
It's a puppy? Probably bunny. So if you created a PHP library or package or something, you would submit it here, and then other people in the community using Composer would have access to this. So this is Composer is a dependency manager. So it's not really going to install something on your computer. Like if you compare it to like Linux, you did apt install or yum install. It's not going to put it in your system. It's for a project only. And this is not specific for PHP or Drupal. There's lots of dependency managers for lots of different languages. Here's just a few examples. So here's some links to Get Composer, the docs, GitHub. And so how does this relate to Drupal? If you look at some of the history in Drupal, it's basically been functional programming. If you wanted to download a module, you get it from Drupal.org. You might hear something like do it the Drupal way. But if you compare that to the rest of the PHP community, other frameworks, they're all doing object-oriented programming, using libraries, Composer. The recent initiative with Drupal 8 is being more like other frameworks, more object-oriented, using package managers, Composer, and Symfony. So this is why you might think, well, Drupal 8 is so different. This is crazy. It's actually really not. It's just they're trying to be like all the other frameworks. Posers. So what happens when you do this? You have a couple bottles of wine or something, and then you come out with this.
2016.
Heyo.
Excellent. Let me tell you, those Drupal guys, they'll put that DrupalCon on anything, even the video. It's
Yeah.
See how many Drupal people are in that issue about the logo.
I love that Drupal guys are critical of their logo. Let's just be honest
I
here.
love how the
Yes.
Composer guys have been overrun by the Drupal community.
Yeah, that's true.
Why did we let them in?
Yeah. The Drupal people are not very opinionated.
No,
That's a good thing.
no.
That's
Good track record there.
So we have this here, which is created by a few people in the Drupal community.
Cool.
Which is doing the same thing as the packages, but this is primarily focused for Drupal modules. There's a Drupal group. These are the folks that created the packages for Drupal, created this. So I'm talking about, and I'm going to demonstrate Drupal 7 as with Drupal 8 and going forward, Composer is part of it and part of the modules. There's a few Contrib modules to help you work with Composer. Some of them are helping you not use the command line or use Composer in Drupal 7. I'm just going to show a few of these. I have not used any of these. This one looks like it's a wrapper for Drush, so you can in with Drush get Composer commands. This is for Drupal 8. Composer Manager, I think this is for showing you what modules that Composer's listing using that administrative page. If you have a project, Drupal 7 project, and you want to create a Composer file, I think this is...
It says it's experimental, but...
It's experimental. two commits over a year ago.
I mean, probably two really good commits, though.
Right.
Two really good commits. Yeah.
Successful experiment.
It was interactive rebase.
This page is where I started. There's a lot of information on this page. Comparing Drush Make, Drush, and Composer. This is where I started learning about this. So if we compare Drush Make, everybody here has used Drush Make? So basically, Drush is going to, when you do Drush Make, it's going to read a text file, and in the text file is a list of modules that you want to download. Composer can do that also. Composer install. If you did Drush download a module, Drush will download the module from Drupal.org into your project. If you do it with Composer, Composer require, it will download that module, but it also make a record in your Composer file. So the next time you make this project, it'll have that record in there. That module will be in there. So that's kind of basically like updating your make file for you. Here's an example project that I'm going to show. You have a simple project folder. When you run Composer inside this project folder, Composer will follow all the rules that you've established in your JSON file. Basically telling Composer how to behave inside the project. These Composer JSON files can be really complex, really big, or they can be really simple. Some of the minimum information is required. You can have just this in your JSON file, and that would be all you needed. It requires pretty much the same as download or install. So how would we use Composer? At the terminal, a couple examples, you just Composer install, and then it would read all the modules listed in your JSON file, or you could do Composer update.
If you go back, I want to write those down.
Here's a simple example of a JSON file require. You can do point module versions. You could do a wildcard here, which you cannot do for Drupal 7 with the make file. I think in 8 they started doing that. So if you want to compare this to a Drupal example, you say I want Drupal core Drupal 7 dot anything. The highest release 40, 41, and 42 is now out. You could pin a specific module version if you needed to. You know, like any other application, you can put plugins, extensions. increase functionality of Composer. I'm using 2 installer paths and preserve paths. This is so if I did Composer install, it would just install everything in my project folder. I want to organize my project folder. Sites all modules, themes. Here I'm defining where stuff goes, where everything lives.
So in this situation, you would have your composer.json parallel to your www folder. Okay.
So, Composer like Git or a lot of other programs have hooks, events. If I do Composer install, it's going to fire up a pre command and a post command. And Composer will look, see if I have anything defined for these. So if I did Composer install and I have something defined in pre, it'll run that before it installs. These are just a few examples. There's many, many, many of them in stocks. I'm going to demonstrate post install, pre-update, and I have 2 custom ones that I have to install. I'll demonstrate. So the custom ones I'm going to demonstrate here. Well, here I'm defining my pre-install command, pre-update, post-install, pre-update, and my 2 custom ones. These live in the scripts folder, and these are just text files, and I have in there Drush commands. So the place where Composer falls short, which is like site install and enabling modules and things like that, this is where I come in with Drush. So my post install example is going to be a shell script that just deletes some of that extra text files that Drupal gives you that you don't want. Before you do Composer update, you want to back up some stuff. You want to back up your modules, for example, your database. So I'm going to show a backup of my database using Drush. And then install Drupal is a custom command I created, and I have site install is basically just Drush commands. Site install with all my variables needed, and then generate content again done with Drush. So this allows me to download the entire project, type in install Drupal, and then type generate content. I have it all system ready. Yeah. Since I've defined these are available to me like commands in the terminal in this project. Here's an example of the structure of the project. So this does not exist yet. This does not. This is my Composer file, my custom scripts. When I create or install Drupal, this will be created. And then when I run update, this will be created. This is a good time to eat pizza because I'll do my demo after.
That's cool. So
It's really a bad time to read this.
yeah.
After you've already eaten.
Yeah. 13 RSVPs when I ordered the pizza. 4 of us ate beforehand. Those of you that didn't RSVP, I would have ordered more pizza. There's only 2. Thankfully, it's New York style. The slices are really big, but yes.
Go eat pizza.
So
Go get some pizza.
pizza
2016.
Did anybody follow along with the live? You were off of the
It worked. It worked.
It worked great.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I never tried it.
Right when you change it and we go forward to back. It did what it was told. That's confusing.
Yeah, right.
Does it feel like that Composer could do like everything you need? Is that,
Yeah, my next thing I want to do is learn how to download from 2 different repository places and apply patches.
yeah.
Yeah, the patches, there's a extension for that. That's one of the big things is Composer native, like just the Composer philosophy is not one that is compatible with a patch philosophy. Like
Right.
typically in PHP Composer land, like if you want to patch, you fork the repo, do your stuff, issue a
Put it to
pull
another
request, have your Composer file full from your repo
Yeah.
until it gets
Right.
upstream.
So
Which is fine until you consider like, I know some projects I work on, we have like 8 different core patches.
Yeah.
Right?
Well, and we're used to with a main scenario pointing back to the patch that lives on Drupal.org, which is convenient
Oh yeah.
because you can point to the one in the issue and not have to maintain your own repo fork of that.
Yeah, that's what we do.
Yeah.
Unless we have a patch that we know is like client, like
Yeah.
nobody's ever going to care about.
Right. It's not something you're giving back. Yeah. Yeah.
The patch stuff I think encourages good behavior, right? Like,
Yep.
hey, fix something and tell people about it.
Right.
Because I found myself oftentimes like, oh, I need to go create an issue for this because I need a patch for it. And then like I made the issue solely so I can attach the patch and be like, this is the fix.
Yeah. Yep.
But yeah, that last one that last note that you posted where you're like, hey, here's where I learned or where I started, that's got a great discussion about some of the differences between Drush and
Yeah.
That's why I started scrolling through. I was like, have they figured out the patching stuff yet? And that's why at the bottom they're like, yes, use this extension too.
I guess I can, y'all eat and I'll keep going. So this is my JSON file where I'm downloading from the repositories. Here's my list of Drupal modules. This is where I want them to go. Here's my extras we talked about. This is the location of my downloads, vendor packs. Here's my custom scripts at the bottom.
For those extras, where do those get installed or declared? Do you add those like to your core Composer
Yeah,
installation?
see on the left here, the scripts folder.
Oh, sorry. Like your installer paths and your preserve paths extensions are those? Because those are extensions to Composer, right?
Yeah. I'm staying up here. Right here.
Oh, sorry, I didn't catch those two. All right, excellent.
Can you add a custom repository, like multiple repositories?
I don't know how, but yeah, I think you can. That's my next step is do that.
Yeah.
Go from different, Git and stuff like that.
Right.
Where does the value for that name variable come from? Under installer paths under extra.
I think the name of the module.
Oh, okay.
So like any Drupal site, I start off with an empty database in a .com. Here's my local .com, my nothing here. So here's my project files. You see the JSON file and my scripts folder. Don't worry about the X debug.
Now we wait. It takes a little while.
I've done this while you're getting your damn pizza.
Yeah,
There she goes.
that's good. I guess just be had built.
And we like watching processors spin.
So here's my modules downloaded, and then here's my post install hook automatically ran. So if we created the .dev folder for the Drupal website, and you see we removed most of the text files that I didn't want.
And this post-install script did that?
Yep.
Yeah.
This is just bash script. I have to refresh. All my modules are there, not installed, but they're all there.
Very cool. Yeah, that was something I was curious about, if you were going to do this with Drupal 7.
So in my install Drupal script, I got some Drush commands. Site install, ran. I disabled overlay module, toolbar, enabled some other modules I like, views, etc. So now if you look at the site, there you go.
Does Drupal run faster with the Composer install?
As long as it's running in TMUX mode.
Okay. So if you have it in TMUX.
You see, you did do what you want?
TMUX mode. So here's my admin menu. My views modules are on here. Oops.
I always love the modules list, your modules list, because of the toggles, the extra cool.
And then, so here's my content list, which is 0. This is just calling another script, which is calling more Drush commands to enable the devil module and create some nodes.
Oh, well.
So now, if you refresh, there's my 10 nodes. I have an entire Drupal site with content ready to break.
I may have missed this, but is install Drupal, is that something that is an add-on? Like
script.
Is it something you made, or is it?
Drush site install.
So the download module
It's a script. He's running a script that runs Drush site install.
But he
That's
typed Composer.
Yeah.
That was the
Yeah,
question.
there's go back to your composer.json. That's just a key to the install Drupal script.
Yeah.
Okay.
Like, you see he's got install Drupal down there. And then
Oh, okay.
Drupal.
Cool.
And then I assume the scripts directory is just a convention
Yeah.
that is common in Composer language.
I just set some of the variables and then do Drush site install.
See.
So Drush knows the location of where to pull it, download from?
It's already downloaded. Composer downloads it.
Okay.
Drush is just doing site install.
Where does it know to download from? Where does Composer know?
Right here.
Oh, that's for the Drupal install as well?
Nice. Okay.
Both the different packages, you see where he's got required Drupal, and 7.star.
Yeah, here's the Drupal module.
But yeah, that package is where those particular packages are.
So it's got Drupal and it's got modules in that repository.
Yep.
Yes.
Line 9 is Drupal core.
So are those module versions effectively pinned? So if there's a security release of views in 7.4, you've got to edit your composer.json and run composer update.
But for Drupal core, it's just 7. anything. I just do Composer update and get the latest. So there's no database directory here. So I'm going to check for module updates. Remember I have a script for pre-update to run, which is going to do my database dump with Drush. Hopefully there's no updates. So there you can see the database script was run. And database is created here. Oops. So now there's database directory. So there's the database directory created, and there's my database dump. And my script just names the file as timestamp. So let's say you wanted to add another module. You go here, just basically takes you here. You can search admin use, see information about it, installs, versions, here's what you would type require.
So someone else has to manage that on packages? Or how does that?
I think they're connected, the versions. I'm not sure how. I need to learn more about that.
Because that's curious.
Yeah.
Yeah, they're having to do some sort of conversion on packages, but whatever it was to.
Yeah, I can imagine they would manually deal with that. It's too much. I mean, it's,
well, there's in the intro one that Mike put there's another link to the meta discussion about, hey, how do we get every Drupal module available as a package,
okay.
and where to host it, and whether or not we will crash the general packages.org by putting a hard start there.
Yeah.
It's an interesting discussion.
Another composer command is this show. You can see the same data there as we would see here.
So right now they're manually added to packages by Drupal Community.
Yeah, I don't know the process, but somebody does something. It's not magic where you do it for every module.
Okay. But if you want to use a module that's not in packages share, Composer will allow you to specify the repository where it is. So it's not like you can only use the modules in packages. They're just easy. Okay.
Yeah, but you can see like the Git URL.
Yeah, you can go to the Git repository. Very specified. Nice.
That's about it.
That's awesome.
2016.
It's probably been 6 to 10, maybe a little further than that. Issues ago at a weekly drop, there's a pointer to a thing that talks about using Composer with Drupal 8. And some of the things that we're doing in Drupal 8 to make it
More better.
easy, like more compatible with Composer at the core level. So it's a more read more of that area to just go search the archives and dig it up.
Yeah, thanks for doing that, Mike. Yeah, you know your package.
Hey now.
JSON. Hey now.
2016.
Eric Anderson, 2016. Your package JSON file is that?
Composer JSON?
Huh?
Composer.
Composer JSON.
Packages that we have.
Yeah. That's where my head is usually. Your Composer JSON file is. Yeah. I can tell where I'm going. And neither one for you know, allow native NPM. Nobody cares here, probably.
So the next JSON file.
Oh.
I don't know. Yeah, I just read that.
Mike,
Whole
you're
little blog rant about Meteor and everything. That was like, what's happening with Meteor? Where's it going?
There's a ton going on.
part
That's
one, part
actually-
two.
That's what I'm saying. It's like it's such a little like, oh, what's going on over here now?
Yeah.
It's no different than any other of these things and all these communities. It's kind of funny because I think we should title the 15th meetup for Meteor the hand wringing edition. I've sat there and watched the community completely hand wringing. I'm like, I've seen this a million years at Drupal. I'm not even worried about it. It'll get sorted out. And it's just like people are like, what should I do? Should we?
In the world.
We're gonna change. We're gonna use Redux, and then the next guy next week goes, no, we're gonna just do Express. And the next thing it's like, okay, you're not getting code done. You're not building apps this entire time. You're switching and learning new things.
Yeah.
And there's a time and place for that, but you're also not getting work done. So,
That's just
but
what they do.
Drupal had the same kind of dynamic at different times, where things are in flux and they're trying to figure it out. But you still have to get work done. But one of the cool things is tagging kind of along with Jeff's presentation on React, because that's one of the positive things with React in front is a Meteor is to kind of cut through a lot of the BS that's going on and figure out like what are the real realities. That's what I want to talk about. These are the things that are out there. What do we really think is going to happen in that world? We can't predict it all, but I think if you look at past patterns, I'm a big believer in looking at the past and history and patterns that, like the Meteor, in this case, the MDG has done and how they've done things, and take their philosophy and apply to the future. That's why to me, like Apple as a company is not such this mystery thing. People just seem like act like it's mysterious, and they repeat. They've done the same thing for years. They're on a repeat cycle, but they're just really good at what they do. So you just look at history and it repeats itself. They talk about. And there's always surprises along the way and slight things that change, but that's kind of how the world works. So, but what I was going to ask you was the composer JSON file. Is that because you had some of those scripts and stuff in there, and then you got scripts? Were those scripts ones you wrote? Is that something you can get on GitHub? It is on GitHub. Cool. That would be awesome. Because I'd like to get that out there. Steve, you got a slide deck too. Can you post that somehow on the meetup page when you get a chance, or shoot it to me and I'll get it up there?
We'll work something, I guess.
That'd be awesome. Thank you, sir. And
I forgot to mention.
Yeah.
Where I had this.
and link yours too. Link yours up there too on meetup when you get a chance, sir.
The custom scripts.
Yep.
You don't have to have a file name there.
Yep.
You can just write out the script there.
Okay.
And it also will take an array of file names.
Oh, cool.
Does it do those serially or? Oh, really?
I don't know. I never tried to do that.
You mean run the scripts parallel?
Like when there's a post update, when there's multiple post update scripts, what does it do? The scripts?
Yeah, with yes, serially.
Yeah, you want.
That's what you said parallel. Yeah.
It seems like you want
When you
to
said
one.
parallel, I was like,
Right.
ooh.
That might cause a train
You
wreck.
want it serially.
Yeah, we train wreck now, but you can test it.
Let's just set up some race conditions in our.
Yeah. Right.
Possibly wrong.
Well, what else do we have tonight? Are we? Anything else?
Building something cool.
Go ahead. How far out are we booked?
We're booked out a bit. I was going to look up what's coming next.
I got a question.
Yeah.
I don't know whether it applies here or not. Can we do behavior-driven site development in this? Can we?
Yeah. Actually, I'm gonna let. But before I answer that, I do want to mention we are booked next month. We are booked for a number of months, but it looks like the next one for March is called Amazing Things You Did in D7, Even More Amazing in D8. And that is Evan Borden. I'm trying to place Evan.
He's with Innovation of Yesterday.
Innovation yesterday.
Remember Eric came here once? He was there from one.
So we probably need to. I need to reach out to Evan and make sure he's ready for that. He did not make the last presentation. I think.
Yeah, I don't think.
Yeah, there's a potential here. We need a potential backup. I'm just going to throw that out there. But I want to reach out to Evan and find out if he can do that. But good question. Behavior-driven development, awesome topic. I'm going to turn that over to Mark Belair. He was asking, what can you do behavior-driven development in all this Drupal stuff?
can you do it?
Can you do it? And maybe talk about tools that we use and that sort of thing.
Yeah, you can do it. That is the general answer.
Good job.
Yeah. Actually, we used we still use Composer to install Behat. So that's actually kind of funny. But yeah, it's really easy to install Behat. There's a lot of docs out there for and help for setting up Behat to run Drupal tests, and there's a lot of libraries for different Gherkin, which is the sort of English language lines of tests. There's a lot of just pre-written Gherkin for Drupal specifically, which is great. Yes, I think we use Selenium. I think, yeah. That's at least what's recommended. Yeah, I mean, I think there are other people using other things, but Symfony is just what all we use. Yeah, so there's a great place to start in the Drupal community. They've done a lot of legwork on that stuff. But yeah, it's very possible. Very, very possible. Thanks.
So if you're doing Java development, are you doing behavior-driven development?
We generally JBehavior we use for behavior driven.
Okay.
So that's like simple English language.
Yeah.
And you put all your Java method below the English sentence. That was the meaning of the English sentence.
Yeah, and then JavaScript land, it's Cucumber.
Yeah, Cucumber.
Yeah.
Another one.
Yep. So that's cool. Is everybody familiar with behavior-driven development and what that's about? Everybody's got it down, figured out, doing it, writing your.
I'm not doing it.
So yeah. That is a behavior. Well, it's so yeah. Testing's around here for us. Testing's always a subject because I always feel like we can grow. We're way down the road from where we used to be, but we have lots more we can do. We actually talked about it today in our meeting because I think across the team we need to be more consistent because we've got people that are writing tests all the time and doing real well. We've got people that need to get caught up to speed and do that. So we're trying to figure out the best ways to kind of equalize that and make it consistent across the team. But so what we talked about doing was focusing first on behavior-driven development for people who are newer to that and not try to bog everybody down with saying, okay, write unit tests, integration tests, and behavior-driven development tests all at the same time if you're brand new to test, any kind of test-driven development first. But the neat thing, and I think it'd be cool to do a presentation about testing. I've been reading up a bunch on it because there's a lot of new ways to think about it. They're probably different than how people do it. But really, the stuff that Mark's talking about with BDD is the whole. It's the natural language aspect. The whole piece is to write acceptance tests, for instance, in a language that you can basically have a business analyst. That's the idea of BDD. Is you could have a business analyst
who knows the terms,
who could write the test in plain English, and a developer, the only code they would write really is step definitions that define
for the ones that don't exist.
For the ones that don't exist. Now the cool thing about Drupal is the Behat.
It's actually Drupal extension.
Drupal extension.
Is the project that is all the predefined Behat step definition.
Yeah, so a great tool in Drupal is the Drupal.
I commented in the meetup.
All right, thank you, Mark. He threw it in the meetup page, the link.
What are some of the tests that it runs out of box?
Log in, log out.
It'll fill a form. It'll submit a form. It'll
create a node, do blocking. It may do block stuff. I can't remember for sure. It definitely does user interactions. Seems like. But you can. There's in Behat. I think. Is it Composer or Behat? Where you can run. There's a command that'll list all of them.
Yeah, I think it's technically in Behat. Like Behat just pulls from.
And it'll list all the tests.
All the step definitions that you got.
But then you could use those to wrap and because at some point you're going to be writing your own step definition that's specific to your application.
Yeah.
So you can use those existing ones as models and use them in your tests. And kind of like Chris was talking about, the hardest thing for programmers is the naming. Like I feel like sometimes the hardest thing for programmers in test world is how to organize your tests. Because I sit there and go, I could organize this a million ways, and
how to organize it, how to decide what needs testing, what doesn't need
Yeah.
testing.
Oh my gosh.
It's like,
Yeah.
if I really need to test it, like I can fill out the body field on a node. They all have them. It never, like you never
Yeah.
match, but
Yeah.
oh, I want to test it. If I put this thing in a body field, this other, like if you're doing, like if you're using an entity in there, or if you're putting a token in,
Yeah.
it's actually getting processed. And so there's a lot of, it is a specialization in development, right? Like there's a lot of thought that has to go into what do I test? How do I make it so that my tests are either flexible enough so that I don't have to change the test every time I change the code, or that they're adequately testing things that are likely to break. Right? Many times it's like, oh, that broke.
Yeah, what are the
Let me add a
things,
test for it.
and down the road, like if you fix a bug, is to say, oh, I missed that in a test, and how do I put that into a test so we catch it and verify it next time? That might happen a little more often in unit testing and integration testing. But Leeway, you had a question?
Do you guys have a testing team?
We do not. I hope we do. Something we're hoping to do is start kind of build out a QA team. I don't know when that's going to happen. That's not really in my area, although I keep bringing it up. Because we have right now BAs that are PMs that are QAs, and it's all mixed, and it's a lot on one person to do.
Oh man,
It's awesome.
No problems there.
Conflict of interest in those
Yeah.
They just have this endless amount of energy.
So one of the thoughts was to take the QA piece out of that first. Yeah. So I'm hoping to have basically to move that direction, because and actually I was talking about this today. We have a coworker, Marcus, up at AP5 Cowork, who is that's what he does. He's a QA. He was a developer, and he's still a developer, but all he does is QA stuff, and he runs the developers in his shops over through the ringer. I mean, and he's dealing with. I hear him grumbling because he deals with the usual developer going, well, it works for me in my environment. I can't replicate. I can't recreate that issue, and he's getting all that crap. When he knows good and well, he's able to. So he has to go in kind of defensive mode and show evidence. But I heard him the other day just because walking by a coworker here stuff. But I heard him go. I'll send you screenshots. So when a test fails, you can say grab a screenshot, in Selenium or whatever, Phantom or whatever you're using. But
are they doing automated or are they doing?
I don't know. I know he does some freelance and he's got a day job too, but I don't know how that's going. So we've got some stuff that can run automated, but most of it's manual right now. But I feel like we need to get it to a place where the funny thing is we're probably going to get our BDD and Meteor stuff running automated before our Drupal stuff, because it's a little simpler. We've got one project that we can use to test with it that would work, I think, pretty well. We've already got a bunch of tests written in Cucumber for that, so I think but we're talking about that today. What I really want to do is have our documentation and our guides be real similar. So if you start out using BHAT for Drupal stuff, and then you go to Cucumber for JavaScript stuff, that I want the guides to be kind of a crosswalk. So between them, because they're already kind of similar, and unit testing is similar, right? Between platforms, you're going to have describes and tries, or you're going to have something like that, and so what is the PHP unit with asserts? PHP is going to have some different thing, but I'm messing. I mean, you could say it's easy.
We do have automated unit tests running on at least one project.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, you did like full coverage on.
Let's not get carried away with full coverage.
100%.
We've got a good bit of coverage on custom code.
Hey, 100% coverage. 100% coverage.
110.
But actually, there's if you have a unit, there's a tool that can help tell help you identify coverage and map that out, which is kind of nice.
Coverage. Sorry, PHP Storm has like a coverage GUI for PHP unit. We'll show you what has full coverage.
What it's got, yeah. And PHP unit is pretty nice. I mean, it's pretty cool. We're using PHP unit in do what?
You respect the hell out of it.
I respect the heck out of it. But PHP unit is we're using it in D7, and that's not normal because people use simple tests, and so we don't push PHP unit stuff back to the community because they're gonna be like, what is this? But I mean, they'll know what it is, but it's not. We try to community stuff, keep it stay in their community world. But simple tests is really heavy for doing unit testing because it's not really unit testing. It's you're loading up a database and
well, it depends on
good
if
for
you
what it
wrote
is.
a Drupal web test case or a unit test case.
Yeah. Yeah.
Drupal is also, unfortunately,
not real unit testable.
Yeah, like it kind of puts a headlock around. Well, you don't have an option but to use the web test case because you very quickly run out of useful stuff you can actually test without.
It's almost
without
bootstrapping. It's almost the same issue that Meteor's at with 1.2 now, where you have to bootstrap the entire to do integration testing. You have to bootstrap into all of Meteor, which is kind of expensive, slows everything down, and they're going to a model when 1.3 drops a Meteor, for instance, where and this is akin to going to Drupal 8. Things are a lot more unit testable, things like that in Drupal 8 because of the frameworks they're using in object-oriented background. But Meteor 1.3 is supporting JavaScript modules, so it allows you to really just pull in just the file that kind of like an include type deal. But you pull in just the file you want to test, or just the files you want to test, and so that's going to be a big help. But we've done quite a bit. I mean, we have PHP unit where it'll bootstrap. It does bootstrap Drupal. We have a special file that does it, and we kind of modified something we found. Some Drupal shop had it out there.
They're doing it. It's not just us.
Yeah.
I know one of the guys I've worked with, he worked on some of the stuff for like the large scale Drupal stuff, like the previews and everything. And what they did to make it testable is they basically had it where it's basically like dependency injection. They had it where you would hand in a Drupal object and then everything ran through that Drupal object so they could test that code to just get a mock. And then, for when it's in the site, that's an actual reference to.
You're mocking the whole Drupal object basically in a way.
At least the aspects of it.
Yeah, enough to cover what you're testing there or whatever. Yeah. That's cool. That's cool.
And anytime you can mock as opposed to using DB unit, which is its own bag of hardware. Sometimes there's no way around it.
Yeah.
A lot of mocks and spies.
Can't say mocks.
Yeah. So you gotta be careful.
Yeah. Anyway.
But
Fun stuff, though.
it is good stuff. And
do y'all run them locally, or do you run them on their servers, or when do you execute the test?
well, yours is Jenkins is firing off the ones you did for that project.
If I don't run them, they never fail. So
I've never once had test fail.
We've got forks and a blessed repo. And generally, for me, what I'll do is I'll write my code, I'll write my tests, or other way around, depending. And
one of those two things happens.
As I'm writing those tests, then I will run that specific test locally, and then I'll push it to my fork, and I've got a Jenkins job that runs unit tests on that entire branch, or actually the entire project. And then if something else fails, then I'll come back and pull it back and run the other tests that fail and address that.
It's expensive. Like I know they have a lot of tests for Atrium. And it like runs overnight to run all the tests.
Oh wow!
Like,
are they PHP unit or are they?
No, it's simple tests. Yeah. So yeah, Drupal is like I said, not the friendliest towards a pure test.
That's the part and parcel to like having procedural code where like you've got 30 lines in a function and it does 6 or 7 different paths. And, hard to cover all that. You can break that down and just take little bits of functionality and break it out into other functions, but then you're stuck having like module name underscore functionality underscore particular functionality of that function. Like this is a getter, this is a setter. Your names are well beyond 80 characters long.
Yeah. I mean, it gets better every version.
Yeah. It's better now. And you can write object-oriented code in Drupal 7.
Yeah.
And that's actually easier to unit test. I find that I'm writing a lot more object-oriented code in Drupal 7 for that reason.
Yeah.
Although class loading gets tricky sometimes. Everybody loves talking about testing.
Heyo. Yeah, we do.
Yeah.
I just can't wait for Bel Air to tell me how to do BDD. That's super. I'm excited about that.
I'm sad about that too, Dieter.
The whole room's excited.
Much excite.
Much excited.
Overwhelming.
Well, does that awkward silence mean we're done?
Yeah. Feels that way, sir.
Thank you for coming.
Yeah. This is, I think, a good meetup tonight. Yeah.
I was going to tell you, Sharp, I was in a PHP podcast a little bit.
Oh, did you?
Yeah. Number 3, the one on meetups.
Yeah.
By far the best one.
Oh, cool. Nice to hear. That was a fun one.
Yeah, it was very interesting to hear all the lessons learned you guys had.
Yeah.
So it looks like y'all been doing it for a lot of years. So.
Yeah, gosh, we was CharDUG the
About
first.
6, 7 more right now. Cohort.
Sorry.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah, I just saw.
We're launching a BDD meetup.
Stop.
Yeah.
Rob is promising meetups to anybody who walks in the door.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, you're in a Minecraft. We can do a Minecraft.
No, actually, that's not what we say. We do a Minecraft. You want to run a meetup?
Yeah.
That's actually what it is. We're at a point now. We're maxed out. We're like, we'd love you to run the meetup. So no, that's cool, man. Good to be here.
Yeah, it was good to see how y'all had the presentations lined up, and you decided to get people in
That was all Brian's
Brian.
thing, and we repeated that.
Well booked out right after tonight.
We repeated that on basically, like, we just started practical security, which is a new meetup. Josh Payne is the lead, and you don't know Josh, he doesn't come this week, but he's a security. Yeah. And so, so Josh is leading that one. But what's neat is that very first meetup, we had 11 people, kind of a couple people online. But the very first meetup, we were like, okay, who wants to do the?
What are you doing next month?
Yeah, and we lined up. We got 9-10 months worth of meetups lined up, which is really cool. And it really does help. And it helps too because we got people. John drives a good way to get here. For example, John. John, and I'm missing his last name, but John. There's a John that drives from Greensboro down here. John Firewater. He drives from Greensboro to this meetup. And when people like that, kind of like it's a big commitment to drive and leave work. It's a lot of dry gas. It's in the rain today. I mean, it's amazing. All that stuff. But what would be disappointing is to just have. We used to just say Drupal Roundtable a couple years ago. And what would be disappointing is that they show up and it's absolutely nothing of interest. And if you're debating on a drive and you're figuring out, should I go tonight? Hopefully the presentation's still on, and at least it's on topic. You know what you're getting into, and you know it may be of interest. And some people will still come anyway, but I think it's because just like tonight, we want to talk about other stuff, that context and blocks and 8 and all. So you want to talk about other stuff that you wouldn't get otherwise. Pretty cool. Yeah, it's fun stuff. But I mean, we're still learning, and so when it comes to meetup stuff, I mean, we're refining and figuring stuff out. And if you start having attendance wane, you kind of go, okay, what are we missing, or what should we change, or what? And you can kill a meetup. Meetup it's healthy to say into that and you start something new. I mean, it's not a failure. have a project, you can say, hey, that was great while it was there, but it's not needed any longer, and we'll
Yeah, podcasts and all some podcasts, just search for the
Okay, two more came out.
Yeah, we may start, I think we're gonna start, releasing Meteor Strike and HP5 podcasts both on Mondays, because it's just easier to do the recording on Sundays and do it all at one time. I think that's where we landed.
Yeah.
We were struggling, because tonight would have been a recording on.
Right.
For me,
Wednesday night conflict.
and we were already like, yeah, how's that gonna work? So it's fine. It's, we'll see how that goes. Cool. Cool.
Thanks.
Awesome. Look forward to seeing you up there.
Thanks, everybody.
Yeah, thank you for having me.
Yeah, awesome.
Thank you for
Hope you got something out of it.
You have no idea. It was-
All right, cool. Right on.
Wish I could gather.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's all right.
Yeah.
Being here, listening.
Yeah.
First of all.
Yeah.
There's lots of good meetups around. I just noticed that somebody started to go meetup this month. Yeah. Is that his jacket?
You're a Mark also,
Oh,
right?
yeah, so much.
Yeah, thanks for coming out, man. Cool, yeah. But, there's some good meetups. Yeah, meetups around Charlotte, and I just saw it tonight, there's a Go language meetup. It's pretty interesting, so, which Go's a really solid language for a lot of cool stuff.
Our CPO just converted a bunch of shell scripts we have for our Docker stuff. It's like, I think I just want like a one thing. He's like, well, do you know any like bash shell frameworks? Because we just wanted like DevTools is like a thing rather than like, oh, here's your start.shell, here's your stop.shell. So he's like, I'm just gonna do that in Go, and I was looking at it and like it is in Go, and it has a lot of other stuff around it, but then there's a bunch of like systems.exec, sudo, blah, blah, blah. I'm like, there's a shell script you can go.
Oh, GitHub? No, I will.
Yeah.
One of the interesting things that we started talking about was, and I don't.
They're really simple.
And I think it would still be an issue
yeah,
because it doesn't make sense, but.
the other one,
Site
In the Meteor node world, like,
Is that
I'm starting to see a lot of,
no, you had two custom.
strong developers that they just do all of
One
their
was set
DevOps
to the site install.
Oh, that's it.
And the only downside that
A lot of examples is in the,
that means you
if
serve
you look
a
at
node on it. That doesn't come with the server.
Oh, you back up the data.
Eventually, maybe those start to be included, but see, the advantage is there.
yeah, that is actually, it's strictly shell script, delete files.
Now if I want to
And Go, I guess, you
Yeah, I
have to
never
solve
understood that.
All the text files that come in Drupal,
But I'm like, now I'm like, well, if you need to debug this, I
it's a bunch of garbage that you don't need, like database, text
we haven't like
files,
committed to
and
using it.
It's a good experiment.
Yeah, he was like, well, I really want to learn Go, and I'm like, well, that is
You
a
can.
beneficial thing.
I just deleted it as an example.
I have to like